So, I'm going to describe two or three things here. I'd like all three of them to make sense. Uh, this is a vlog. It's rising above being a test video to be a vlog. It might be an edited vlog. Well, a number of people viewing this are aware that ORT, oral rehydration therapy, has is one of the most successful medications of the 20th century. It's now the 21st century. Yet, as I've read about it, oral rehydration therapy has saved millions and millions of children's lives because it rescues them from diarrhea by rapidly rehydrating their bodies. Uh, and it works because of a nifty physiological thing. The nifty physiological thing is that a particular mix of electrolytes, ions, as well as sugars, cause some particular ion channels at GI tract tissue to absorb water. It's like 7 or 20 times faster than ordinary water because the ion channels detect just the right osmolarity, and that is the concentration of ions, and then they rapidly move the fluid to the body. And that's why oral rehydration therapy is better than water. What could be a little better than oral rehydration therapy? Well, when you think about it, the gastrointestinal tract of a baby or a child is long. And that means there's a variety of different chemical environments, from environments with only a little bit of sugars and ions to a strong concentration of sugar and ions from when they drink the oral rehydration therapy thing. Now, polymers, like polymethyl methacrylate, and possibly protein polymers like Jello, could release more ions or more sugar depending on the concentration of ions or sugar where they were at, which would cause a greater area of the GI tract to reach that just the right amount of ions and sugars to cause the ion channels to do hyper absorption of water to more rapidly rehydrate the baby or infant. So basically, the way to improve oral rehydration therapy is to find a polymer, or perhaps just something like Jello, that causes the oral rehydration therapy ions to automatically find the right level at more areas of the GI tract so that more fluid is absorbed more rapidly. Now, ORT, oral rehydration therapy, is used in a variety of circumstances at the developing world as well as the developed world. At the developed world, coming up with something like that makes a lot of sense because the people have more money. I mean, if oral rehydration therapy costs like a dime or more because it has polymers but is much more effective, they can afford it. At the developing world, it actually depends on how much it costs to make an ORT packet. Oral rehydration therapy, the last time I looked, if you gave them a dime, they could distribute an oral rehydration therapy packet to a sick child. So making that go from a dime to 20 cents is kind of maybe different than just distributing twice as many ORT packets, right? So it could depend on where the oral rehydration therapy users actually are, depending on the technology as well as value equation there. Now that I've talked about a way to improve one of the most effective medications of the 20th century, I'll talk about magazine covers, because magazine covers are kind of fun. Now, when advertisers charge people to put advertisements on the back cover of a magazine compared with just any of the pages on the inside, they charge a bunch more, like 4 times more, 7 times more, something like that. And that's because, to my perception, advertisers believe that the images and words that are on the back cover of a magazine have much more educational and motivational value. Financially, they're 4 to 7 times more memorable or motivational at getting people to go out and actually get a product. So if there's some sort of beneficial utilitarian message you want to communicate to people, the front cover and back cover of a magazine might be 4 to 7 times more effective at teaching people. Thus, I'm suggesting a new way to communicate more at magazine covers. Magazine covers have gone through a tremendous amount of measurement, activity, creativity, and I've noticed that many magazine covers have numeric lists, like 11 things you can do to get your paramour to appreciate you more, or 7 mutual funds you must know about now. There's a certain amount of space that goes to the picture, which kind of draws the person's view and activates their emotions. And then there's the headline words, which tell them what's actually at the magazine, which hopefully motivates them to pick it up and acquire it from the perspective of the magazine creators. Now, here's a way to actually bring the teaching value of the front cover of a magazine to the contents of the magazine, so that people actually gain the utility and social improvement of knowing how to get along with their paramour better, or to actually find out what some of those mutual funds they must know about actually are. Sometimes with graphics arts, you may have noticed that something printed with one color can gradually change to a different color. The little dots intermingle, and the first few lines that are written are plainly visible, but then the lines that have gone to the other part of the tone area are less visible. Thus, what I suggest is right near a headline where it says 11 ways to get your paramour to appreciate you more, it actually start listing some of the things on the list right at the front cover. Yet to maintain the amount of cover space that's actually used, it uses this graphical technique to shift to the other color that the other headline is written in. So maybe the first 2, or even just the first 1, or maybe the first 3 tips that bring the magazine viewer's motivation to occur would be there. Like maybe arrange date night every week with your paramour might be one of the things on the list. So that would be written there, and it would be pretty much visible. And then the second thing on the list would be mostly visible, and the third thing on the list would be kind of visible, and so on, as the color effect shifted towards whatever the color of the next headline was. And then if that headline was Learn to Meditate Now, or 7 meditation techniques you can do right now, then the first couple meditation techniques would be right there on the front. And then the others would fade gradually towards the coloration of the tips about having your paramour pay more attention to you. This way, the people picking up a copy of anything from Cosmopolitan to some magazine, money magazine about mutual funds, would get a few items from the list of 7 items or 11 items that they were supposed to know about, absorbed like 4 to 7 times more effectively at their mind, because that's the teaching effect of the front cover of the magazine. Now, it's possible that this also benefits the magazine as well, because it's possible, it's more likely the person is going to pick up the magazine to read item number 3 on the list, because they have to get a little nearer the magazine to do that because of the way the color changes to the color of the other headline. It's also possible that touching the magazine is sort of like neuro-linguistic programming. If the person touches the magazine to more carefully view the other items on the list, then it's possible that having touched the magazine, they're that much more likely to acquire it. So it's a new area of research at printed materials to make it so that people actually learn more of the beneficial utilitarian things that the magazine is offering them with these lists, as well as actually bringing more people possibly to acquire the magazine so that they can actually read the entire list. It's even possible that after they actually read the article, viewing the cover over and over again reminds them of the other items on the list because they're remembering the first couple items on the list from that appearing at the front cover. Well, now I'm going to talk about titanium. Titanium is awesome. So I'm going to do some research on titanium, and I urge other researchers and anybody with an interest in metallurgy to do more research on titanium.